Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Can we just give them a hand clap? Can we just honestly just give mothers give them some honor? Man, moms and mothers, we're so grateful for you. And what Pastor Dave just said, we all have one, which is a blessing. Let's pray. Most heavenly gracious Father, we come to you. We just thank you truly for who you are. And we just thank you for such an awesome day, and awesome day to get to honor our mothers in our lives, and thank you for blessing us with them. And so truly today, as you speak to us through your word, I pray that all hearts and minds are receptive to what you want to say, to what you want to speak to us through your words, God. And I truly pray that you increase as I decrease, God. And let us hear with renewed ears. Let us see your word like never before. Truly let it pierce our hearts, God. So please open the eyes of our hearts today. And Father, we just thank you. We love you. And please let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. For you are my strength and my Redeemer. It's in Jesus' name. Everyone say, Amen. Y'all know the drill. Give your neighbor a high five. Tell them it's about to go down. Give them a high five. It's about to go down. So honoring moms.
This one here.
Question for you. What do you think about when you hear a top 10 list? There's a lot of top 10 lists of songs in the 80s or 70s or 60s or 40s or the 90s, or there's top 10 lists of best food, or top 10 list of best restaurants, top 10 lists of like best sports team, like number 1 is Dallas Cowboys, number 2 would be the Seattle Seahawks, and then the rest of the 3 goes on after that. But anyway. Oh my goodness, I must be in Seahawk country, huh? But there's top 10 lists all over the place. People are always ready to rank something. People are always ready to put it in, a category. And it's interesting, did you know that God has a top 10 list? No, dead serious, God has a top 10 list. It's called the 10 Commandments. Dead serious, he has a top 10 list. And don't you think that we should probably take a look at the first original top 10 list? And number 5 on that top 10 list is in Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which your Lord God has given you. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. And it's interesting because when you look at the 10 Commandments, the very first 4 10 Commandments actually deal with loving God. How to honor God, how to love God. And then right there in the middle is number 5, which is saying, honor your father and your mother. And then the next 5 commandments after that deal with how do we love, how do we honor other people. And so there's a method to the madness. There's a real method. If you look at the first 4 is if you honor God, if you love God, if you do what he tells us to do in the top 10 list, then right there he throws in number 5 to honor your father and your mother. And if you learn how to do those things, then guess what? It's going to make it a whole lot easier to love and honor other people. Man, we're talking about this word honor today, which is a very powerful thing. A very powerful thing, talking about honoring. And God truly wants us. And here's the thing. It's a command. It's not like a suggestion. You should maybe think about it. No, he's saying do this. And so in other words, he said first learn to honor me. And in honor me, God's going to do something in your heart. He's going to change something in your heart. And he says, hey, the very first place you get to exercise this, the very first place you get to learn this honor thing is with your parents. I used to love it, man. My grandmother raised me, and we'll get more into that a little bit later. No, I'm lying. I didn't love it. But you know those old window shades where you do a little tuck on it and then it flies up? Man, I swear that was like she loved to torture us waking up in the morning, especially on these Sunday morning days like this. And she loved to get up early on Saturday mornings, and we would be asleep with the covers over our head, and all of a sudden I can hear her tucking on the thing there, and that thing will fly open, man. The sun will come in, beaming in our face, and we're all like this, we had to honor her by going out and doing some Saturday lawn work. Saturdays were cartoons. That's when they used to do cartoons, right? Saturday morning was for cereal and cartoons, but me and my brother be out there doing yard work. Somebody talking about, amen, yeah, you feel me, right? And we'll be out there doing yard work, and the thing is funny because the thing I said, man, when I get older, how many of y'all When I grow up, when I get my own place, when I get my own grass, I'm not doing any of this. And guess what I was out there doing the other day? Gotta get that line right. I said, man, I laughed and I couldn't escape it, man. The thing I said I wanted to get away from, now I love lawns. I love landscaping and planting things. And I look at myself like, man, dude, what happened? Some of y'all can relate, right? Oh man, giving honor. And we're going to talk about a couple, we're going to give you a little appetizer. Is that okay? Before we get to the main meal, we're going to give you a little appetizer. And then the appetizer we're going to give you, first we're going to talk about just a few things. And giving honor where it is due has tremendous power. Giving honor where it is due has tremendous power. Romans chapter 13, verse 7. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes.
Come on. Stop looking at us like.
It's tax season. Maybe has it ended? I think it maybe has. If you owe taxes, pay your taxes. It's your tithe to the nation. Now, the one interesting thing is that they haven't figured out that, and one thing I love about God, it doesn't matter about the economy, how it flows. He says 10% is 10%. I wonder if, maybe the government or something will adopt maybe some God principles and do 10%. Look, some of y'all ready to shout, yes, please, 10% only, right? Oh, that's a whole other topic. But if you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. The interesting thing about respect and honor is that sometimes they get confused. Most people, confuse the two, they blend the two. And here's the biggest difference between respect and honor. In respect, the respect has to be earned, right? Honor is an unearned gift. Respect has to be earned, but honor is an unearned gift that we should constantly give and give out. Are you hearing this today? Talking about giving what is due. Have you ever, has someone ever owed you money? Man, I was thinking, man, I'd probably be lending, if everybody paid me back. So I actually stopped lending money, I just give it to them. So that way, you don't owe me, right? But have you ever seen someone, they owe you money and then, they walk up or you see them out and they're buying things with the money they owe you? Some of y'all might be a sore subject right here. They owe you something, but they're walking out with bags, or you see them on Facebook or Instagram or something. And like, those new? Oh no, these old things? These rags? No, I've had these forever. Okay, that's me. Okay, let me move on. Y'all pray for me, okay? That's one of my things I got to pray about. Let's look at this next one. Honor releases God's favor into our lives. Honor releases God's favor into our lives. Ephesians 6, verse 2 through 3. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you, and that you may enjoy long life on the earth. This is a funny passage here. Have you ever wondered where that statement comes from? I brought you in this world, and I will... Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you, and you may enjoy long life on this earth. Man, my grandmother did not play. It's interesting because my grandfather, he passed away from lung cancer. He was 58. I think I was roughly about 10 years old. And my grandmother revealed this to us later. He told her, he said, hey, you got 2 boys to raise. Don't be soft on them. And man, my grandmother took that to heart. Now it made sense after she told us about what he said. If she's sitting at his bedside, he said, hey, you got 2 boys. Hey, you got to be hard on them. You got to be tough on them. And I don't know how that translated, computed in her brain, but man, she took it to the next level. And I thank God for it today because man, she was honest. And there was many days I was on the brink of things not going well with me. Looked like my life might end a little short, but I'm still here today. So thank God, man. I somehow found out about this passage about truly honoring my parents. Now let's look at this next one. Honor helps release people's potential. Honor helps release people's potential. Mark chapter 6, verse 4 through 5. Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home. He could not do any miracles there except lay hands on a few sick people and heal them. The interesting thing about this passage here is Jesus is walking and doing this thing, and he's got this reputation now. He's healing people. He's doing awesome stuff. And now he comes back to his hometown. Who does not want to go back to their hometown to bless their friends, to bless their family members? Who doesn't want to do that? You got now either you come up in life and you get a promotion or something happens. You say, hey, I want to come back and give back to my family. I want to come back and give back to my loved ones. So Jesus shows up and he's ready to bless. He's ready to start healing. I can imagine on his way walking there, he's like, man, I can't wait to go back home to show all the awesome things God has done in my life. I can't wait to go back home and bless them with this ability to be able to heal and this power that God has given me. I can't wait to bless my family. And he walks in and he's ready to bless them, and guess what happens? They give him no love. They're like, man, how can you be this awesome Jesus that heals? How can you be, man, we grew up with you, man. We watched you when you wrecked your bike over there and you was crying because you skinned up your knee. We know your brothers and sisters, man. And here he is, not the same person. Here he is now, God is doing something awesome in him. And I love this passage because it says, a prophet is not without honor except in his own home. Isn't it interesting how those that think maybe they know you best can miss out on something beautiful in their life? So here it is. We're talking about honor. Here's Jesus. He was given no honor. So the potential inside him, the blessing inside, it said he couldn't do many miracles there. It says there that honoring releases the potential in a person. Honor releases. How many people maybe are around us that have so much in them that maybe the potential on the inside, because maybe we haven't honored them like we should have. That their potential is locked on the inside of them. Maybe there's somebody in the midst of that could be a huge blessing to us in our life. And that's not the motive for it, but what I'm saying is for them to live out their God-given potential, but we haven't honored them like we should. And I'm not standing here talking to you about this from a place of let me give you, can I just give y'all a testimony of my life real quick? Remember I was telling you about my mother a couple of weeks ago? How she invited me to church and I'm a product of all of that? Well, let me give you the backstory to that. So here it is, young Courtney Hickman, my mother gets pregnant with me and she's in high school, 17 years old. And here's the other interesting part. My dad, I was his second child in high school, so I got an older sister. My dad's second child in high school, and the enemy was trying to kill me, man, from the womb. Matter of fact, at 6 months, when my mom was 6 months pregnant with me, she got hit by a motorcycle crossing the street. I mean, the enemy was trying to take me out from day one. So here it is. I get born. My mom's young, and she just decides that she doesn't have kids and don't want to have kids. And my dad's family and a whole bunch of nonsense there. And he already had one, and really no one wanted me. No one wanted to claim me. And so then even my younger brother's born. We're roughly a year and 9 months apart. We're both born, and my mom's trying to do the best she can. She kind of has us a little bit, and we're living in Texas. And all of a sudden, she takes us to the babysitter and never comes back. This is my mom I'm talking about. Never comes back. Don't know where my father is. My mom never shows back up. And so the babysitter, after a while, she can't take care of us and everything. And it was kind of a sad situation. What happened to us, my brother was malnutrition. He was doing bad. Matter of fact, he almost died. And it was just a horrible situation. So here I am, a year and some change. And my brother is 6 months old. And we're going through this plight. Matter of fact, let me continue to add to the story. I have a sister out there. I have a baby sister out there that I don't know. So my mom got pregnant again and had another child, but this one she just left in the hospital and just walked away. So I got a baby sister out there that I don't know where she is. I don't know what her life, but I pray for her daily. I pray for her every moment. And even to this day, I'm still trying to search to find her. So when I say I'm not talking about I'm just being real. Is it cool for me to share my testimony with you guys? So here I am, and it's interesting. Let me tell you how we got found, the grace of God. So my grandparents come to visit us. They come to visit us. And they run into my mom and say, hey, where are the grandkids? She's like, oh, they're at the babysitter. She's like, okay, all right, we'll catch up with them later. And then they say, hey, when can we see the grandkids? She said, the babysitter took them somewhere. So she kept giving them around. So finally, my grandfather said, where are the kids? My mom said, I don't have them, I don't know. And so they go frantically search and try to find us and find out we're in the child protective system or whatever, going into that system and everything. And so we're living at some type of facility or whatever, and they finally find us. And now begins the fight to try to get their grandkids. And so my grandparents are fighting to get custody of us. And let me help you out in here. If you're adopted in here or anybody's ever adopted, hey, you should wear that as a badge of honor. Because one thing, you can be born into a family, you can't choose that. But adoption is so powerful because when someone chooses you, That's how you get adopted. That means someone wants you. And the same thing is with us with God, is that God says He adopted us into His family. That means He chose us. That means He wants us. So you're hearing this today. So I wear adoption as a badge of honor. That means someone chose me, someone wanted me. So here they are going through the process of fighting and trying to get custody of us. And all that time is interesting because my mom will pop up through our life, and we're living with our grandparents. She will pop in and say hello to us and maybe promise to send a gift and not send a gift. And I was getting so much anger. I just couldn't even place it. And my grandmother will always tell me, she said, hey, when your mother gets here, you need to honor her. When your mother gets here, you need to honor her. Because that is your mother. You need to show her honor. And sometimes I didn't get it. Can I be honest? I didn't get it right. And there were times that we couldn't just be in the same room, and I would go off, and it's interesting because my grandfather passed away in October of 1993. That November is when he finally got full custody of us. So that process, that whole time, I didn't know. They were on probation because they live in the state of Oklahoma. Texas laws are different. That whole time we were living on, so that whole time they're sitting there fighting for us, trying to do all of this money just to be able to adopt us. And it was after my grandfather didn't even live to be able to see the adoption fully through. And how many God has did the same thing for every single one of us? That He's fighting through a process. That He's sending a messenger, that he plays a song on the radio, or that it comes through a sermon, that He's constantly trying to get to the place that He can adopt us into His family. So here we are, we finally get adopted, and I'm sitting there and I'm going through this process with my mom, but the whole time my grandmother keeps speaking, hey, you need to honor her, you need to honor her, and the most of the time I got her, I'm honor her because you said I should. But in hindsight 2020 now, this is the same woman that I just got off the phone with, and we're having a beautiful conversation. This is the same woman that says, hey, I'm glad, one, that you're my son, but you're also my pastor. This is the same woman now, and so it's a beautiful thing how God can turn everything around. But all the way through the process, I still honored my mother. Again, honor is an unearned gift. Did I always respect her? No. But honor is an unearned gift that every single one of us have plenty to continue to give. We are hearing this today. So when I say I'm standing here, not just talking about it just because, hey, it sounds good. No, I have to live this thing out day by day. Honoring my mother. And here's the thing. This is a principle. This is a godly principle. This is not a holiday. This is a godly principle that God is saying to honor our parents, honor our father and mother. And here's the thing. And let me say this, because I think I can say this because I'm living through it. Is be careful not to confuse your problem or pain with God's principle. Be careful not to confuse your problem or your pain with God's principle, because if you do, you will hold necessary honor that should be given. Be careful not to confuse your problem or pain with God's principle. And look at it like this. When you have a gift, what is the goal when you have a gift for someone? What's the goal? To give it. It's not a gift if you're holding it. The goal of a gift is to give it away. It's so funny, man. My daughter, her neighbor, had a birthday and wasn't going to. She invited her to a birthday party. She wasn't going to be able to be there. And she said, "Yeah, can I make sure I get a gift?" She was so mad. I have to give this gift to her. So she goes over there. She wasn't home. Came back. I said, "What happened?" Well, she wasn't home. I said, "Okay." She said, and next thing you know, 5 minutes later, "Can I try again?" I said, maybe give it a little bit more time. No, then can I go try? Okay, go ahead, try again. So she rolls on over there, knock on the door. Oh, they're still not home. And she comes back home, and then 5 minutes later, "Can I try again?" And there's the principle of that. She said, "I have a gift that I'm trying to give away, that a friend didn't earn, it's something that's just from the bottom of my heart. I just want to honor you." And that's what honor is. It's an unearned gift, and we should be chomping at the bits to try to give it away. So today, we're going to talk about 6 ways to honor your mother. And this Father's Day is coming up. It's really honoring parents. 6 ways to honor your mother, honor your father even. Romans chapter 12, verse 10, it says, "Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Outdo one another in showing honor. You want to do a competition, try to out honor. There's a lot of things we get competitive about. You want a competition, compete in trying to out honor. Let's look at number one. Number one is very powerful. Forgive them. Forgive them. Luke chapter 23, verse 34. Then Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. For they do not know what they do. And it's very interesting, this passage talking about forgiveness. And there's a quote out there somewhere. Some people say you should forgive and forget. That's actually inaccurate.
Right.
Only God forgives.
Come on.
Some people have a challenge with that because I forgave them, but I still remember. No, we're supposed to remember. The thing is, we're supposed to forgive. And the forgiveness is necessarily not for them, it's for us. So we can be able to move forward. Testimony time. Back to my mother again. Here I am, I have a family, I'm in the military, I'm doing awesome things, and God is blessing. And I get a phone call from my mother, and she's on the phone, and she's frantic, she's crying, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't know if somebody's hurt or somebody passed away, and I'm trying to help her get herself together. I'm like, look, hold on, take a breath, talk to me. And she finally says, I don't know how to tell you this. I'm like, what is it? Just let me know what it is. What are you trying to tell me? And she said, the man that you think is your father may not be your father. And I'm standing there in the driveway of my home, getting ready to walk in to greet my own daughter, greet my queen. And she drops this bomb on me. And you know what my response was? I said, Mom, it's okay. Until I caught off guard, I said, what do you mean? Do you realize what I just told you? Like, I don't know if the man you think, because I ended up meeting my father, and it's so powerful. And you know how they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? Most people use that in a negative connotation. My father lives in Federal Way. This is the first time I've ever been around in my whole life. Beautiful, beautiful relationship. One of the other part of that is, he's a pastor.
Oh, come on.
He has his PhD in theology, getting his second degree and all that stuff. The apple doesn't fall far.
Does he play keys?
From the tree. Most people only use that as no, that's holistic. You're hearing this. Can't. You know what I mean? It's real life, right? We went back to my mother. So she's saying, this man, he might not be your father. And I told her, I said, Mom, it's okay. And she said, how can it be okay? Do you realize I just, and I don't know how you're going to feel about me. I said, Mom, here's the deal. I said, I know who my father is. Oh, that messed her up. She said, you do? I was like, yeah. It's God. I said, that's why I'm okay. I said, so regardless of whatever, I've always had my father. He's been there with me every step of the way. He's been there with me every single moment. He's never missed a game. He's never missed a sickness. He's never missed a cold. He's never missed a big moment in my life. He's always been there. I'm good. I know who my father is. I'm good. It's okay. And I remember we were talking about honor. Man, we used to get some of the biggest arguments. And I felt justified to go off. I felt, because I was so wronged, all the missed birthday, I was justified. Can we be honest, right? I was justified in going off. I was right. And I love my grandmother's wisdom, man. I love that lady because she just drops just mind-blowing wisdom. And I'll never forget this. And I say it all the time. She used to tell me, Courtney, everything that's right is not righteous, but everything that's righteous is right. Everything that's right is not righteous. But everything that's righteous is right. In other words, what she's saying is, you may be correct in the world's standards. So I was justified by having issues with my mom. I was justified by being angry. I was justified by going off. I was justified in all of that. But yet, was it righteous? And I remember one day we was on the phone, and I said, Mom, here's the deal. I said, I love you. And of course, God had to do some work on the inside of me. I said, here's the deal. I blame you for nothing, and I forgive you for everything. I blame you for nothing, and I forgive you for everything. And from that day, that moment, we're golden. Never to revisit it again. Never. I still remember, yeah, but you know what's the interesting thing? It's just a scar now. You know, scars don't hurt anymore, they've healed up. And really it's the indicator that you survived. The scar is the place to say, I made it. The scar is the place. And so, I love it dearly. And how many know God does the same thing for us? He blames us for nothing and forgives us for everything. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Y'all hearing this today? All right, point number 2. Speak well of them. Speak well of them. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Actually, you know what? Mark those scriptures out and I'll change the scripture. So boom. Sound, you got it back there? That's what I'm talking about. Give Jim a hand back there, y'all. He's awesome, man. Yo, give Kevin a hand. Give everybody back there a hand. You know, let me tell y'all the rough life of sound people and audio people. You know what? I mean, somebody can have a car accident outside and everybody looks at the sound person. They look back in the booth. I mean, anything goes. You know what I'm saying? Anything. They get got for the video blips. Everybody does. They're like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? It rains outside. Y'all looking at the sound guy like, what's up, man? What's up, the rain? But man, hey, you know what? We appreciate all the audio team, and because we couldn't do what we do, they wouldn't be able to hear me or other people, or y'all wouldn't see what y'all see. So anytime y'all see them, give them some love, man. For real, give them some love. But speak well of them. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Now, it doesn't mean we can't give criticism, but there's a word called constructive criticism. And what is constructive? To build up, right? So, speaking well of our parents, this interesting thing is, our grandmother would never let me speak ill of any of my family members. Speak well of them. Speak well of them. There's honor in that. Speak well of them. And, oh man, so I'm debating should I go on this tangent, but social media. Facebook. Fishbook. Some people are fishing for love and comments. And other people fake because that's not the place. That's not the place to put your laundry out there. That's not the place to... Because here's the thing. Let me ask you this question. Out of all those friends that you have, that are friends on there, how many of them truly want the best for you? You know, I had a conversation with a gentleman the other day, and he sits down with me and said, "Hey, can I talk with you?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's connect." And he said, "I didn't go to any of my friends, quote unquote." He says, "because I knew they wouldn't give me good advice." He said, "I knew they were going to be partial. I knew they were going to be biased. I wanted to talk with someone that's just going to give me just straight up 100 the real Word of God and let me line up with that. That they're not going to just join me because we're good friends and say, yeah, that's what you should do." And he laid out a situation to me, and I began to say, this is what the Word says. This is how we should go about it. And he was like, "Thank you." And it's interesting because he went and exercised God's Word. Not what I told him, he went and exercised God's Word. And that's the first time ever that him and his wife had to have a sit down with someone else. And he said, "Man, that's the first time ever we had a conflict, and it went good." Everybody left out there hugging, reconciled. I was like, that's God's Word on it. And it's interesting because he said, "I was so ready to go post a rant on Facebook." He said, "I was so ready to go post." He literally had it typed up and he showed me. He handed me the phone, I deleted it just so he wouldn't accidentally see it, right? He said, "You don't need that anymore." But it's interesting because I see a lot of times, it's like, man, so many people blast each other and you can't take that back. And I say, once it's on the net, it's on the net. You can't take that back, right? What'd you say? Forever. You're saying a lot. Forever. I see you saying a lot? Okay. But how are we speaking of each other? How are we speaking? And if we have, we'll talk about that. You taught on conflict, didn't you, Pastor Dave? Okay, I'm gonna move on. But no, honestly, it's not the place to handle our issues, handle our challenges. And it's interesting, I see people, they'll post something on their Facebook page, which is public, and then they tell people, they get mad about the responses. And I'm like, you put it in a public place. Okay, all right.
Right, that's true.
That's a sermon in itself, right? All right, number 3. Esteem them both publicly and privately. 1 Thessalonians 5:8. So speak encouraging words to one another, build up hope, so you'll all be together in this. No one left out, no one left behind. You know, every single parent wants to see the best of themselves in their children. And the best way we can do that as children, every single one, because every single one of us is a child of someone, is to live out our God-given purpose, because then it ministers to our loved ones, our parents, to see the best of them in us. I heard a great quote one day, and it's so powerful. See, your children are a letter you write to a future that you'll never see. Your children are a letter that you write to a future that you will never see. In other words, we'll be dead and gone, and people will be reading about us perfectly through our daughters. Reading a letter of us. And it's my prayer they become the God-given potential, because then I get to see the best of me, and maybe it all didn't come out on my end in the watch. Maybe it didn't all, but it's so powerful. You know, it's interesting. I talk to my dad all the time, and his words, man, and we have a beautiful relationship, no regrets, none of that. And it's powerful because he's always saying, man, I'm so glad to see God moving in your life. And he said, things that you're doing, man, he said, man, I wasn't there yet. I wasn't, but there's no saltiness. He's seeing the best of him being lived out in some of his fruit, some of his seed. And that's one of the best compliments we can give, is to get to our God-given purpose. To get to our God-given destiny. Same thing's happening with my mom. She's seeing the best things on the inside of her. There's so many awesome things I have from my parents. On both of them, that are on the inside of me, that God is helping bring out, that God is helping cultivate. They're getting the opportunity to see that. Number 4, seek their wisdom. Seek their wisdom. Young people take pride in their strength, but the gray hairs of wisdom are even more beautiful. So if you got gray hairs in here, that's your moment right there to, flip it back. I think I got a couple of specks somewhere around here. My girls love to point them out. Like, Dad, what's that? I'm like, watch out. I told somebody it was lint one time. I think it's lint. The permanent lint. Like, man, won't. Job 12:12, wisdom belongs to the age, and understanding to the old. If you want to honor your parents, ask them for their advice. Ask them for their advice. You know, one of the greatest compliments you can give to a person is to ask their advice. That is one of the greatest compliments, is to ask for their advice. Hey, man, what do you think about this matter? Man, I've learned some stuff, man, from all types of people. And don't get me wrong, just randomly go out here, what do you think? Because, man, you open yourself up. But also at the same time, being a student of life, I've been around some stuff and learned. I've been around some people that I wouldn't even thought of, and then next thing you know, man, they drop some wisdom, because God can speak through anybody. God can speak wisdom, He can speak healing, He can speak through anybody. So I don't want to ever dismiss of who it is. So I'm always trying to walk around just paying attention. I've had some of the greatest conversations with total strangers, and they drop exactly what I need to hear. Seek their, but we're talking about our parents too, seek their wisdom. They've been here. It's so fun. Me and my daughter Trinity, we were having this conversation, and she's getting to that age where she's getting smart, right? She's learning a few things, but she's not there yet. And so, prime example. So at our home, I like to make sure our home is safe and all that good stuff. And so we had these annual house repairs coming in. And so all of a sudden the doorbell rings or whatever, and so Trinity goes, and actually this is what happens. I hear the alarm gets turned off, and then she lets the garage door open. She goes on outside, and we got cars in our driveway. And so I'm like, who's letting up the door and everything? And so I come to her, she comes in and I say, hey, was that you going out in the garage? She's like, yeah, that was me. I said, you realize we got cars in our driveway, right? She's like, yep. I said, who are they? They're the people, aren't they? I was like, don't ask me questions. I'm like, who are they? She's like, I thought they were the repair people. I said, really? How do you know? I don't. I said, oh, so you just gave people access to our home without knowing exactly who they are. The look, right? Computing. transformer just blew in her brain. I said, probably you should have maybe came to Dad to confirm. He said, well, I looked outside and I saw him. I figured today was the day. I said, true. But how do you know it was that? Now, she didn't know I'd already talked to him. I told him, hold on a minute. We're getting dressed, getting ready for school. We'll be with you in a moment. I said, probably the best thing would have been to do is just come holler at Dad, Mom, hey, are these people legit before I open these doors? She said, yeah, it's probably been. So we're driving, and I always try to have conversations with my children. So we recap. It's not just, when I grew up, everything was a felony, right? You were wrong, you did your time, you got out, you reoffended again, went back in. I was like, man. And so we have conversations, and I'm driving with her, and I said, hey, Trinity, so you realize that Mom and Dad have your best interests at heart? She was like, yeah. I said, can I ask you a question? She's like, yeah. I said, how long have you been living? She said, 11 years. I said, how long has Dad been living? Be careful. Be careful. How long have I been? She was like 35. Yeah. So you think I might just know a few things, just a little bit, because I've been around just a little bit longer? Yeah. I said, how long has your sister been living? 5 years. I said, do you think you know a few extra things more than her because you've been around? Yeah. I said, you always want her to listen to you, right? Because you just know a few extra things. Yeah. I said, we got a few extra things. She sat there and looked. I said, so we're here for you. I said, there's going to come times in your life where you think you got it all figured out. I said, but we're here for you as your parents. Just come get a little bit of wisdom. Just come ask us a couple of questions. We're also going to make sure you're good. She's like, okay. Now time will tell. We'll see. It's with all of us, right? So number 5, spend time with them. Psalm 71 verse 9, do not cast me off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength is spent. Do not cast me off in time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength is spent. One of the most precious things you can do as an adult after you moved out is to spend time with them. Now I know most of you moved out so you can get away, right? Come on, can we be real? Everybody's like, man, I can't wait to move out, right? Because my grandma used to be like, it's my roof, my house, my rules, and I used to be walking around there like, man, okay, just wait. And then I got into real life. And I was so thankful in college, man. I used to come home grocery shopping. I loved coming home. I used to find any excuse to get home, to do laundry and to grocery shop. Because my grandmother always had plenty of food, plenty of peanut butter and jelly, plenty of ramen noodles. And so I would come home and leave out with bags of stuff. But the interesting thing is truly, it was a very powerful time. Even children, they spell love T-I-M-E. You can send them gifts, you can buy them the latest things, but truly how they spell love is T-I-M-E. It's necessarily not about the quantity of time, it's about the quality of time. Even me and my queen, as we're working on our marriage, one thing I identified when she's talking to me is that, and we're going to talk about this next week, she wants to have my attention, like these 2 eyes on her. It's not enough for me to be sitting over there scrolling or reading something. And I can regurgitate everything she just said. But what she's saying is, I want your undivided attention. I want your time. And how many that's the most valuable thing we have to give is our time. Most precious thing. We share it. It's not, and again, I know we would love to maybe, some of us wait, well, I don't have a whole day, I don't have half a day. Sometimes it's just a moment of 5 minutes, 10 minutes for just to sit down and have a good conversation, just to spend some time. And last, number 6, provide for them. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 4. But if she has children or grandchildren, their first responsibility is to show godliness at home and repay their parents by taking care of them. This is something that pleases God. It's truly to provide for our parents in whatever way we can. And that provision is a big word. Because maybe, so like my brother, he still lives in our hometown with my grandmother, my younger brother. And he goes and he cuts her grass for her. Or he'll go and help her plant flowers. He'll go buy the flowers to plant for her. He'll do different things to provide truly for our loved ones, for our parents. And I really want to close with this thought, which is big, because if you kind of got the theme, we're talking about Mother's Day and honoring. But truthfully, in order to really, really do that well, there's another word we need to use, which is called reconciliation. And I truly want to encourage you, and hopefully you can see my testimony, to truly go, and if it's necessary, and if it needs to happen, to reconcile those relationships. Reconcile those relationships with your mom, with your dad, with your brother, with your sister, with a friend. So you can leave here truly with no regrets. And that's our God, right? That's what He's about. He's about reconciliation. He's about reconciling relationships. He's about making sure. And I think I shared this story a while back, and I'm continuing to learn this. I had to reconcile a relationship after 14 years. A gentleman and I in college had a falling out, and I was so angry, and I was like, dude, we're done. And probably about 2 years ago, God was just pushing it. And it was so awkward because I'm on Facebook and stuff. And it's interesting because we had some of the same friends. And then you're seeing him in a picture with those other friends. So do you like the post or not like the post, right? You know what I mean? So, and God was still messing with me. I was like, why are you around here still salty over that? Why are you still around here? He said, you need to reach out. You need to go reconcile. And I was like, of course, you know, I did. I was like, oh yeah, sure, God. I'll do it tomorrow morning, bright and early. No, I delayed, right? If I was like, all right. So I reach out to him, and the interesting thing, he was in the wrong. I reach out to him on Messenger, and I said, hey, and I see you on here, and I just have to tell you, one, I'm reaching out to you to ask for your forgiveness, to forgive me. Because we had an issue a while back, I handled that the best way. Right? I handled it the right way, but probably wasn't righteous. And so I'm sitting there just sharing with him, and said, I probably didn't handle that situation like I should have. And I'm asking for your forgiveness in that. And I would love to reconcile this. I would love to figure this out. And how many know when you go to reconcile, it's a vulnerable place? Because you put yourself out there. They can say no, they can say knock it out, right? So I'm in this place of vulnerability, and I'm all like feeling weird, and I'm like, man, I'm not the feel weird type dude. I was like, well, I'm all feeling, because it's truly putting yourself in a place of vulnerability. And so he hits me back a couple of days later. He's like, hey man, thank you for reaching out, man. I don't even know what it was about. I can't even remember, but hey, will you forgive me too for whatever I did, you know, to cause the breakup between us and everything. And so now we're friends now, and he had a son, we're celebrating. Now I get to celebrate with him. I get to be an encouragement with him, and we're, you know, hey, here's my family, here's what God's done in our life, here's, hey, awesome stuff, man, congratulations. Now we're moving on to such a beautiful thing, but 14 years gone. 14 years gone. But God is a redeemer of time, and so we got that relationship reconciled, and it is a place of vulnerability. And let me be honest with you, the power of relationships. You can't truly experience relationships without being vulnerable, which means it's taking a risk. If you walk down the aisle with somebody, you're taking a risk. If you put yourself out there to ask for forgiveness, or you're taking a risk. In other words, we're just doing what God does. Did God not take a risk with us? Someone asked the question one day, why is there so much evil in the world? Why does God allow that and everything? Well, I was praying about that, and I'm still working it through. I was like, you know, on one end, He could have just made us all robots. Be like the Sims game, just do what I say, I control everything, and you don't have no thoughts, you don't have anything. But God said, I want to truly be loved. I want to truly be loved, not based off of manipulation. I want you to truly choose me. And so in doing that, God understood, I'm going to take a huge risk, because just maybe this thing might go left. Just maybe people might not love me back. Just maybe people might make their own decision and choose to do me wrong. Just maybe. So God took a huge risk on us. A huge risk. And that's what a relationship is. So even right here is on Mother's Day today, and hopefully it's to you, and truly it's my prayer that you can take my testimony. And again, I have a beautiful relationship with my mother today. Everything's reconciled. Everything is good. And maybe you guys are already good. Well, continue honoring your mother. Continue honoring your father. Continue honoring all of those in your life. And if it's not, can I just be encouraging you to go after the thing? Go get it. And I'll be in prayer and agreement with you for that. To make sure that I'll be that happens, because God is no respecter of person. If He did it for me, if He did it for others, He can also do it for you. Amen. Amen. Let's pray. God, all over this place, we come to you as your service. We heard your word today. and we get to honor mothers today. He gave us principles of how we can honor our mothers, God, by spending time, by forgiveness, by seeking their wisdom and advice, and so many other things, God. So we're grateful today that we get the opportunity that this is not just a holiday, but this is truly a kingdom principle, that it was so important to you that it was in your top 10 list, God. You put it in the 10 Commandments, saying honor your father and your mother. Honor your mother and your father, God. So maybe today I pray that someone heard something very powerful and said, man, I'm either going to continue honoring, or if you're in here and say, man, I need to go reconcile something, and they go get it reconciled, because God, there's something very powerful you want to do in relationships, God. And so all over this place, I thank you that we honor those mothers that have been a blessing to us. They gave birth to us all, God. We love them dearly. We're so thankful that you've blessed us with mothers. This is a blessing from you. And so we're grateful for that, God. And we just thank you. We love you. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Everyone say, amen. Amen. Church family, were you blessed today? Amen. Well, again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the house today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man, for mothering us, understanding us. I mean, man, you guys are awesome, man. That's why guys can't be moms, because we just ain't got the strength. You know what I mean? If I catch a cold, man, I'm curled up in a corner somewhere with a blanket on and a thermometer in my mouth. And y'all are just so strong and doing awesome things. And so thank you so much. We want to honor you today. So we're about to go back into worship, and Pastor will be up after this.